I'm so glad you decided to join me today. It is time now for our 9 for 9 with me, Pastor Karzadine. Come on in, let's get started. Good morning. How are we this morning? This is a beautiful day today, and we're going to worship. We're going to just be excited about life today. Listen, we've been talking about this thing called focus. How are you? How are you? And how are you? We've been talking about this thing called focus in our last few sessions. And we want to keep talking about focus. And this morning we want to talk about keeping your head in the game. I say to you this morning, keep your head in the game. You know, sometimes when we're watching our favorite players in football or basketball or whatever games, we're watching them and they get distracted sometimes, maybe by the attitude of someone else, maybe by the fact that they got hit trying to run that touchdown in, or maybe they missed that ball. They might have had an interception in football. Somebody may have blocked their shot in basketball, and that can become a distraction. But they have to keep their head in the game. They can't let that stop them from their drive, from continuing to go forward. So I say to you this morning, keep your head in the game. Did you all know that distractions sometimes might be unintentional, but for the most part, they are intentional? Distractions come to get you off your game. Distractions come to cause you to stop focusing. And we know that we are pushing that thing called focus right now. There's so many factors in this game we call life. There is so much that we want to accomplish, and we work towards these things. Yet it seems sometimes for some of us, or many of us, that our end goal keeps getting further and further away from us. You know, we put in this time, we've gone to some trainings, we've taken some extra classes because to be elevated maybe on our jobs, we have to have more experience, we have to be more educated, we have to have more degrees behind our name to get a certain position. And we go through all of that, and we just can't seem to land that thing that we're looking for. So I'm encouraging you again to keep your head in the game. Do you know that when you go on an interview, or you're seeking a job and maybe you don't get called for the interview? I have to tell you, don't let that be a distraction. Don't let that take you off your game. If you know that you have a true passion for what it is you're desiring, and God has given you the go ahead to go ahead and go after it, don't let that you didn't get called be a distraction. Don't let that you went to that interview and you felt like you slammed it, and then they never called back, or they call and say, oh, we found somebody else. Don't let that be a distraction. Look, distractions come to throw us off our game. Those intentional ones that I call them are straight from someone or something that is trying to prevent you from accomplishing that one thing, that if you reach it, there's no stopping you now. Listen, I just have to tell you that the devil himself knows the end goal for us is success in God. And so there are going to be distractions that come. They may come one way and they may come another. I need to remind you this morning to continue to stay focused and keep your head, I tell you, in the game. You got to, when you do the blocks, hey, you got to keep moving. Even if they get past the block and they hit you, listen, you got to keep going. In those soccer games, when you're trying to get that ball into that goal place and somebody blocks it, don't you get your head out of the game and give up. You got to start kicking that ball all over again and try to get it in. I need to remind you again this morning that sometimes the distractions come from within. Sometimes our emotions are our distractions. They get us off our game. We start feeling sorry for ourselves. We start crying about things. We start worrying about things. Listen, my mom used to say, hey, I'm concerned, but I'm not going to worry. I encourage you to get back on your game, get back on your prayer. Oh my gosh, got to go to that prayer line. Get back on your knees and connect with God. That's your prayer line. You can connect with him. You need to seek him for some counsel. Keep your head in the game. Make sure that you're talking to people who are positive, people who are encouraging you, people who will lift you up. But also, sometimes those distractions can come from friends, can come from family. Listen, if you got a goal in mind, everybody might not be able to go with you. Everybody might not be able to hover around you while you're trying to make that point, while you're trying to get to that place. Keep your head in the game. Family reunions, family gatherings, sometimes those things might come as distractions. I have to share with you, when I decided to go back to school and get a degree, there was so much going on in my life at that time. But there was so many things I had to give up. I didn't cut them off. I didn't cut them out, but I had to give them up for such a time as I was in. And so for such a time as this, if this is your time to flower, if this is your time to grow, if this is your time to be successful and hit that target on the head that you've been trying to hit for years, you've got to give up some things. Sometimes we call that going into sabbatical and focusing on your inner self. Even family and friends are going to have to understand. Listen, I call this thing wanting to play on the playground. And many of my colleagues whom I've worked with, I would tell them, if you want to go up, you got to stop playing on the playground. Playing on the playground can be a big distraction. What do you mean by that? Well, I mean this right here. While you're trying to move up into a leadership role, you're trying to be elevated to go higher. Listen, you've got to make sure that those people that you are already with, that they understand that you have a goal in mind and you can't be distracted. When you play on the playground, listen, as you begin to be elevated or move up, you're going to have to understand that your friendships may change. Oh my goodness, how dare you? Oh my goodness, your relationships may change because now those same people that you're playing on the playground with, you may be an authority over them. And unfortunately, sometimes they are not necessarily going to like it. So I'm telling you, get off the playground. Ease yourself right on off that playground. Still be that have that camaraderie. Still be that person they can go to. But you can't play on the playground because I'm telling you, if you land it or you're trying to land it, somebody's going to push you right off that merry-go-round or stop pushing your swing. Stop wanting to play on the playground and keep your head in the game. Even on your job, in leadership positions, presidents get impeached because they want to play on the playground and they take their head out of the game. CEOs are dismissed because they get distracted playing on that playground, trying to be everybody's buddy, trying to do it this way, trying to do it that way. And if I take this to a spiritual realm, if I take this to kingdom, let me tell you, all of this works together for the good of them that love God and are called according to his purpose. Y'all know I've got to give you a scripture real quick, right? So here we go. 1 Corinthians 7:35 says this. I am saying this for your benefit, loves, not to place restrictions on you. I want you to do whatever will help you serve the Lord best with as few distractions as possible. So you've got to limit your distractions. You've got to break down your distractions. Hear that? That's a distraction, but we're still moving on. Playing on the playground can cost you careers, integrity, your status. Folks look at you differently and judge what they see, not what they know. But I encourage you, whatever they see, you already know. If you keep your head in the game, you stay focused, and you make sure that you're going after that thing and you're going after it with heart, hey, all you can do is come out and give God some glory, honor, and praise. So I want you to keep your head in the game. Stay focused. Listen, we're focusing, people. We're focusing. And I'm going to focus this morning. I'm going to keep it positive. I'm going to keep it right. That's our 9 for 9. Hey, we're not even going to go into overtime. I'm going to go ahead and have myself, y'all already know, to start off on this little crisp morning, not quite cold. I want to have myself a cup of positivity I'll share it with you. God bless.